Our comparison today is the Kia Telluride versus the Nissan Pathfinder.
The Nissan is all new and the Telluride, in my opinion, is top of the pack. Let's see how they make out.
The Kia Telluride offers more power than the Nissan Pathfinder. It has a 3.8-liter V6 engine with an 8-speed automatic transmission. It produces 291 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. In Canada, the Telluride comes with standard all-wheel drive with drive and terrain modes. In the U.S., front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive models are offered.
The Nissan Pathfinder uses a carried-over 3.5-liter V6 engine from the previous model, but now has a 9-speed automatic transmission. Gone is the CVT. It has 284 horsepower and 259 pound-feet of torque. There's a new all-wheel drive system for the Pathfinder with 7 terrain settings. In Canada, all-wheel drive is standard. In the US, you can get a 2-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive model.
The Telluride offers a smooth and comfortable ride with plenty of power for climbing hills and passing other vehicles on the highway. The engine is refined under hard acceleration, the cabin is quiet, and considering how large this vehicle is, you never feel a lack of power. It's a very capable SUV. It's easy to maneuver in and out of city traffic, and the driving dynamics are enjoyable.
This new Pathfinder is quieter than the outgoing model thanks to more sound insulation and acoustic glass. It offers a sporty and dynamic drive, but it is a little bit bumpy over uneven pavement. Once you get it up to highway speed though, the ride is smooth and power is sufficient. The Pathfinder is easy to maneuver in city traffic. It feels composed and stable around turns. The steering is a bit heavier than some in this class, but it is easy to turn and park.
So the good news is there's no longer a CVT in the Pathfinder, and I think most people are happy about this. What I did find is when you accelerate hard, there is a slight lag. Did you find that too, Zach?
Well, I feel like downshifting at highway speeds, it's lazy. Like you put your foot into it and you're waiting, and finally it does it kind of unwillingly.
Yeah.
And also, an initial launch away from a stoplight or a stop sign, first gear is really short. You kind of get going and then it lurches and then goes into second gear.
Yeah.
So this is a programming issue with the transmission. There's nothing wrong with the transmission. It's just something that they're going to have to program better. The same thing happened with Pilot.
Yeah.
Pilot uses the same transmission and they had this sort of jerky effect,
Yeah.
but later models it got better.
I'm just happy there's no CVT, but definitely they can smooth it out. The Telluride has a rugged and boxy exterior style with chrome accents throughout. The Nightsky trim we tested comes with a black grille and black accents, including a black roof rail and 20-inch black alloy wheels. For 2022, there are some subtle changes. The Telluride gets the new Kia logo, and the front grille has a gloss black insert with satin chrome surround. There are 4 trims to choose from. All-wheel drive in Canada. In the U.S., front-wheel drive is standard with optional all-wheel drive for $2,000 U.S. and on the top trim, it's an extra $1,900 U.S.
The base Telluride comes standard with 18-inch wheels, a temporary spare tire, LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, and LED fog lights. Also included is a sunroof and a smart power liftgate, plus plenty of standard safety features including blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert. All trims but the base model come with 20-inch wheels. One up from the base gets the dual-panel sunroof, and the top 2 trims get LED taillights.
The new Pathfinder is inspired by the original Pathfinder that came out 35 years ago with a boxy and rugged design. You can see the original slotted hood design is mirrored here. The front has a long hood with a short overhang and a more vertical front design. The V-Motion grille has a square style to it, making it look more modern. Nissan modified the boomerang LED headlights to give the Pathfinder a strong look. The back end looks sharp with the bold script across the boxy tailgate and the addition of slimmer taillights. For the first time, Nissan is offering a 2-tone paint scheme.
The Pathfinder comes standard with LED headlamps and LED tail lamps, 18-inch wheels, and Nissan's Safety Shield 360, which includes blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert. One up from the base model has a motion-activated power liftgate and a panoramic sunroof. The top 2 trims get 20-inch wheels. In the US, you can add packages to your trims, but in Canada, no packages are offered, just the trims. For me, one of the biggest selling features with Telluride is the way it looks.
Yeah.
I just think it looks really, really good. I think the big boxy vehicle works on this, and Pathfinder is a step in the right direction.
Well, the Telluride has a real Range Rover vibe to it. I like it too, especially in this black trim. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It looks really sharp, but I like what Nissan has done with this exterior. I think it looks much better than the outgoing model. It's rugged, it's boxy, and I think it's going to give the Telluride some good competition.
Now, one thing is Telluride is bigger.
Yeah.
It is a bigger vehicle, and when we get in a moment into the interior dimensions, that'll become pretty obvious.
I also wanted to point out that the Pathfinder comes standard with LED taillights, and that's not the case with the Telluride. It's on the top 2 trims in Canada.
So this comparison happens twice a week, once here on YouTube, but also the day before on Instagram.
Yeah.
Andrea puts out the same comparison, then we collect your comments and read them out.
I feel more for the Pathfinder versus the Telluride. It's not that I don't like the Telluride, it's just that I like the Pathfinder more.
Telluride Palisade destroy any 3-row SUV out there, including future rumored large 3-row SUVs. I guess they can see the future.
I think I prefer the Pathfinder. I really like the interior.
Telluride any day.
The Telluride has a clean, well-organized and stylish interior. It comes standard with an impressive amount of features, like a 10.25-inch touchscreen, a 3.5-inch instrument cluster, Apple Carplay and Android Auto, a wireless charger, 8-passenger seating, synthetic leather seats, heated front seats, leather-wrapped heated steering wheel, and interior wood grain trim. The Telluride also comes standard with a one-touch slide and fold second row. One up from the base model is where you'll find ventilated front seats, driver's seat memory, a power passenger seat, Harman Kardon stereo system, and a 7-inch instrument cluster. The top 2 trims come standard with heated and air-cooled second-row seats, 7-passenger seating, leather seats, and a head-up display. The captain's chairs are standard on the top 2 trims.
Now the Pathfinder is all new. Thanks to additional interior volume, this SUV offers easier cargo and family loading, with wider rear doors and room for up to 8 passengers, which is more than the previous model's 7-passenger capacity. Nissan increased hip room in the 3rd row by almost 5 inches to include seating for either 2 or 3 people in the 3rd row. Captain's chairs are now available for the first time on Pathfinder and standard on the top trim. All other trims get a 2nd row bench seat. The Pathfinder has a removable center console on the top trim. No tools are needed to take this out, and it provides 7 inches of space between the captain's chairs. There's also an easy way to get in and out of the 3rd row with a one-touch seat that pitches the seat forward for a wide opening from either the driver or passenger side to get into the rear. The center display audio system is a standard 8-inch, but 2 up from the base model comes standard with the larger 9-inch touchscreen. ProPilot with navigation, driver seat memory, leather appointed seats, heated 2nd row seats, gunmetal brush trim instead of piano black trim, and wireless Apple CarPlay. The top trim will get you features like a 12.3-inch digital instrument display, ambient lighting, quilted leather appointed seats, ventilated front seats, and instead of the brushed metal you get a bronze look instead. You get a head-up display, wireless charger, and a 13-speaker Bose sound system.
I would say that both interiors are very beautiful. The fit and finish is very good on each of them. One thing to point out is that the Pathfinder comes with a smaller touchscreen. Like Zach said, it comes standard with the 8-inch, but you can upgrade to a 9-inch.
But why, Andrea? Just get Telluride. It's 10.25 inches on all trims.
How is that? That's amazing.
But one thing is, I'm going to mention Palisade in here just because of the instrument cluster.
Yeah.
So you can get a digital instrument cluster in Palisade. Kia doesn't offer it. And you can get it on Pathfinder, but only on what trim?
Only on the top trim.
Yeah. So it is available
Yeah.
in Pathfinder on one trim, not available at all in Telluride.
So on the Telluride, you get a wireless charger as standard, which is pretty amazing. On the Pathfinder, you have to move up to the top trim. And also the Pathfinder offers wireless Apple CarPlay, and that's not offered at all on the Telluride. So a little bit of give and take here, isn't there?
I'll take Telluride still. Just the layout of the dashboard, I think, looks better in Telluride.
But I have to say that brushed bronze or even gun metallic on some of the trims in the Pathfinder looks really sharp. And I find that the seating is really comfortable in the Pathfinder.
All right, let's get into it. The size.
The Telluride and Pathfinder have the same size wheelbase, but the Telluride is almost an inch longer than the Pathfinder. The Pathfinder has best-in-class front legroom, offering 3 inches more space than the Telluride. The Kia offers almost 7 inches more second-row legroom than the Pathfinder and over 3 inches more third-row space. The Telluride wins in cargo capacity, offering an extra 4.4 cubic feet behind the third row and 6.4 cubic feet extra in overall cargo capacity.
So it's amazing. The wheelbase is the same. The Telluride is only 1 inch longer, but you get way more second row space and you get way more cargo space. So obviously Pathfinder has a long hood.
A long hood and then more front row legroom. I wonder why why Nissan decided to do more front row legroom when everybody is always focusing on second row and third row.
Anyway, here's the main takeaway. They're both comfortable. I would say Pathfinder, everybody's comfortable in every seat. I just think you get more space in Telluride.
I don't know what Nissan did because those measurements are quite substantial of a difference between the two. And it doesn't feel that way when you're in the vehicle.
No, like I said, everybody's comfortable. You just get more space in Telluride.
Here's the pricing of the Telluride. Front-wheel drive in the U.S. starts at just under $33,000. All-wheel drive in Canada starts at just over $46,000. And the top limited Nightsky trim that we're test driving is just over $55,500. J.D. Power gives the 2021 Telluride an overall score of 83 out of 100, and for quality and reliability, 82 out of 100. CarEdge states the Telluride will retain 48% of its value after 5 years.
Here's the fuel economy. Telluride all-wheel drive gets 12.6 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 9.7 on the highway. That's 19 miles per gallon city, 24 miles per gallon highway. The Telluride can tow up to 5,000 pounds, and Kia offers a 5-year warranty with 100,000 kilometers or 60,000 miles. Here's the pricing for Pathfinder. In the US, the base model two-wheel drive starts at roughly $33,500. The first base model all-wheel drive in Canada is just under $44,000, and the top platinum trim that we drove is just over $54,000. There were no J.D. Power numbers for the new Pathfinder, but the previous model got an overall score of 82 out of 100, and quality and reliability 83 out of 100. CarEdge states that the Pathfinder will retain 45% of its value after 5 years.
Here's the fuel economy. The Pathfinder gets 11.6 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 9.2 on the highway. That's 21 miles per gallon city, 27 miles per gallon highway. The Pathfinder can tow up to 6,000 pounds on all trims, but the base model, it tows 3,500 pounds. Nissan offers a warranty of 3 years or 60,000 kilometers, 36,000 miles. So you probably notice after pricing that the Telluride actually has a higher starting price than the Pathfinder in Canada.
The one thing about the Pathfinder that they did very well is from the base model to the top trim is $10,000 in the Canadian market.
Yeah.
So that's not a huge spread from the cheapest to the most expensive. And a lot of people will make a stretch up the ladder in order to get some of the nice features. And I think they packaged it really well. And back to your point, Andrea, going through the entire vehicle, millimeter by millimeter, they used every I wanted to say inch because I just said millimeters. They used every available space on the inside and carved out a function for something.
Yeah, just amazing what Nissan did with this Pathfinder. Another thing to point out, if you're towing, it has a larger towing capacity on the Pathfinder.
Yeah, but all of that goes out the window because I just like the way Telluride looks. I like the dashboard better, and I like the way it drives better. I think I like it more on pretty much all fronts, and it's bigger on the inside.
I think the point is here that you definitely have to drive both of them. They both offer a very different drive, and if you kind of like that sporty truck-like feel, you're going to really like the Pathfinder. But if you like something that's a little bit smoother and more refined, I think that you're going to lean towards the Telluride. And you know what, Zach? If you need that third row, all the time, you're probably going to want the Telluride because it's bigger.
And if you're only using it occasionally, a few times a year, a few times a month, then the Pathfinder will be perfectly fine. But you know what? Kudos to Nissan for improving a product that really needed it. Like, they are fighting back with some excellent new products lately. The new Sentra is great. The new Rogue is great. This is great. We're waiting for Frontier. Then we have the Z or Z cars that are still to come. So it's going to be very exciting for Nissan.
Now, one thing to point out is that both full videos are on the channel.
Yeah, the links are below.
Yeah, so make sure you watch them. Check them out.
If you want to follow along and get a question or a comment in for Instagram, it's Motormouth_Andrea to do that. And they have to hit the button and the bell, right, Andrea?
You got to hit the button and the bell around the same time. You'll be notified when all those videos drop. We do 5 a week. This is just one of them.
And we'll see you next week.